What's going on, guys? Crafty Rick here. Let's make Frank Horrigan from Fallout 2 with SRC products.
You've gotten a lot farther than you should have. But then you haven't met Frank Horrigan either.
Alright, for this project I'm using a 14-inch Thanos action figure. He scales up perfectly with the newly released Fallout action figures from McFarlane. I'm using this Frank Horrigan miniature as a model reference. The plan is to sculpt parts of the armor with plasticine clay and then cast them out of resin. I've already sculpted parts of this helmet, and all I have to do is attach all the extra details, like these hoses. I have this 3D printed EXO-1 helmet that I use as a reference guide. With the modeling clay, I proceed to make the filters on the side of this helmet. It looks like a good fit. With a plastic card, I continue sculpting details on this filter and finish up with a cap on it. Once I have two of them, I add a few extra details on both pieces. To attach every part to the helmet, I use pieces of aluminum armature wire. And I proceed to assemble Frank Horrigan's helmet. I like how it turned out. For the shoulder piece, I'm also looking at this 3D printed piece as a reference point for the sculpting part. Using a piece of thermoplastic, I roughly shaped a concave pattern that I used as a base that I can apply modeling clay to. Then I also looked at my miniature to sculpt a similar shoulder piece. I smooth it out as much as I can and do a test fit. Looks good to go. Let's make the mold for the helmet. I place the sculpted helmet on a dowel with a base and coat it with polyester release agent, making sure it is entirely covered. Then I mix silicone for the next step. I'm using Castamol 25T for this one. I mix thoroughly and then begin coating the model, ensuring that every crevice is covered in silicone. I reapply as much silicone drippings as possible. Once the silicone is tacky, I use these plastic PVC squares that will act as registration keys for this multi-part mold. I make sure to press them firmly and dab them with silicone. We'll set it aside to cure. I sculpted more details on the shoulder piece and started to work on the base figure. The legs are a bit too bulky, so I use a heating gun to press the hollow plastic in and reduce their size. Be careful when using power tools and be mindful of your procedures. The silicone has cured, so now we can move on to the next step. Using a roll of scenic plaster, I will create a containing shell for the helmet mold. The plaster cloth is simply dipped in water and applied to your desired surface. I make sure to cover the top part of the helmet while leaving an extraction opening at the bottom. Once hardened, I proceed to remove the base and get the sculpture out. First I remove the mold and then the clay model. Easy extraction. A few incisions here and there where the sculpt has joining gaps. Once cleaned out, it slides back into its plaster cloth casing. Now it's time to spray the inside with police and use a brush to reach every angle. One of my favorite resins so far is Fabricast 50, which we're gonna use for the next step. I mix equal parts thoroughly and pour it in the mold, making sure I turn it to get as many bubbles out as I can. You have to be quick working with this resin. Here you can see a sped up clip of how quickly it cures. Once it has cooled down, we can see how it turned out. It needs a little cleanup, but it came out great. I'll do something similar with the shoulder piece. I place it on some plastic bags and proceed to coat it with Castamold 25T, same as the helmet. Mix the silicone, prep the surface with police release agent, and coat the clay model evenly. Once fully cured, we also coat it with the same plaster cloth as before. Smooth it out and wait for it to harden. Now we can gently remove the plastic bags and do a little cleanup. Remove the plaster shell from the mold and then the silicone from the clay model. And now we have a thin mold that fits in place. I spray it with release agent and use Fabricast 50. I pour it slowly and move the resin from left to right to make sure I get every angle on this silicone mold. I continue to swirl it around until it begins to harden. Once fully cured, we can proceed to the mold. And look at that! We have a replica of the shoulder piece for our action figure. It's starting to take shape. The whole figure needs to be prepped for the next step, in which we're gonna use epoxy sculpt to make the armor for this figure. Mix equal parts, let it sit for a minute, and then apply. Before we do so, the figure needs to be sanded for good adhesion. The epoxy putty will adhere better to a sanded surface. So I'm just going to apply it all over the base figure and sculpt it from this point forward. I get an initial rough shape of what I want the armor to look like. Now we're gonna make another mold with this product. Molto 30P has become one of my favorite products to make quick molds with. It's a pretty straightforward silicone putty with a 1:1 mix ratio. I'll use it for the reactor backpack on Frank Horrigan's back, which is also sculpted out of clay. Make sure you're wearing gloves and mix thoroughly. I'm making a retaining wall out of modeling clay to prevent the uncured putty from flattening out. Now I place the silicone on top of the clay model and press it gently to get all the details. We let it cure and continue sculpting the base figure. I gradually add and shape up the features until I am satisfied with the look. You can dab some water on this epoxy putty to aid with sculpting and make it smooth. And I continue to add more and more details. Our silicone putty should be cured by now. Let's have a look. I removed the retaining wall and revealed the results. It's perfect! For this casting, I'm also using Fabricas 50. This resin is perfect for a project that requires a quick production. Mix thoroughly and wear protection. You gotta work fast with this one. The resin cures quickly and it is satisfying to watch. Easy removal once fully cured. It looks amazing. After all the sculpting, this is what the figure looks like. Now we use some more epoxy sculpt to join the part to the back of the figure. I remove the shoulder piece and press it firmly in place. I have some leftover putty, which I'm going to use to attach these brackets to the plasma cannon I scratch built. And that completes the whole figure. Now the fun part, painting. I use flat black spray paint for this step. After the paint has dried, we can begin painting Frank Horrigan. I use Citadel lead belcher to dry brush most of the figure. Lightly brushing the paint on my hand helps me determine a good dry brushing consistency. The paint needs to feel almost powdery or dry for this step. Doing it this way gives me a metallic look I really love. Now the shoulder piece. And I do the same for the plasma cannon. And lastly, the whole body. We're almost there, just a few additional details. Now I paint the arms with a green fleshy tone. And then I follow up with a dry brushing of mood green. This green really brings Frank to life. And lastly, for the eyes, I use Mephiston red. With all our pieces painted, we can now put them together. This figure took over a month to complete, and it's been on my list for years now. Frank Horrigan is one of the most ruthless characters in the Fallout franchise, and I am so happy with how he turned out. This thing is massive, and I can't wait to display it in my collection. And that is it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.